If you'd like to create this application, a beautiful SFML application with C++ through Visual Studio, stay tuned. The first thing we want to do is go to the SFML website and download the source files. So open a web browser and search for SFML and click on the link you see there and click near the top where it says download. Select the latest stable version and scroll to the bottom and select the button next to source code. Okay, the download is complete, so let's go to our downloads folder and let's right click on the zip file that we downloaded and select extract all. I'm going to extract this to a location where I keep all of my C++ libraries. You can extract yours to any location that you want on your PC. Mine's in C, users, my username, source, and lib. I'm going to select that folder and push the extract button. Now that the extraction is complete, let's just go into the folder and check out the files. So here they are. We have some examples. We have the include folder, which is where the headers are going to be. The source folder contains CPP files, and we have the CMake info that we need to build this. And we are going to use CMake to build that. Let's open up CMake. And I'm going to move this window to the left side here so that we can look at CMake and our library folder at the same time. The first thing CMake wants to know is where is the source code. That's simple. It's just the location where we extracted the SFML library. I'm going to copy that and paste it right into there. The next thing it wants to know is where to build the binaries. So inside of here, I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder. And I'm going to call it lib. And inside of there, I'm going to create a folder called x64, because technically we could build this for several different platforms. So I want to choose x64. I'm going to go into that folder, and I'm going to copy that path and paste it into the location where it wants to build the binaries. And now we can press the configure button. I'm definitely using Visual Studio 2022. I don't know what version you have, but you select whatever you need here. And for the platform, I am going to choose x64 and hit finish. Okay, the configuration finished. We have a list of options here that we can look at. My philosophy is not to touch these options unless I have a good reason to do so. And since I don't have a good reason to do so, I'm going to go ahead and push the generate button. And now we see in the left-hand window here the solution file has been created, as well as a bunch of projects and other files. So let's open up the solution file and build this library. There's several different configurations to choose from here. We have debug, min size release, release with debug info. My plan is just to build the debug and release configurations for x64. So I'm going to select debug, and I'm going to press build and build solution. So the build completed successfully. I want to do the same thing for release, so I'm going to come up here, select release, then click build and build solution. And the release build also completed successfully. So let's go to the output folder and check the results. I'm going to click lib, and we'll just pick debug. And there you go. There's our lib files, our DLLs. Everything's right here in this folder. Now we're ready to create an application using SFML. We'll just open a brand new Visual Studio to make our new application in. Click the button that says create a new project. we'll scroll down until we find the Windows Desktop Wizard template. Hit Next. And let's name this project Hello SFML. Hit Create. We'll make this a desktop application, and we do want an empty project. OK. So to start with, I'm just going to do a little cleanup in Visual Studio. I want to get rid of the default x86 configuration that it provides, since we only built x64 SFML libraries. So let's select the Configuration Manager. And under Active Solution Platform, we'll hit Edit, and we will remove x86. Yes. Close. And then we have to do the same thing for the project itself. So for Hello SFML, under Platform, we'll select Edit, and we're going to remove Win32. Yes. Close and close. The next thing I want to do is add a source file where we'll put the code for our Hello World app. So right click where it says Source Files and add New Item, and we'll call it Application. Add. Now let's go back to the SFML website and download the code that they have for a Hello World program. So we'll click the button where it says Learn. We will click Tutorials. We will click SFML and Visual Studio. And then we'll scroll all the way to the bottom. And here is the Hello World code. So we're going to copy all of this code and paste it into our application CPP file. Let's attempt to build. It's not going to work, but we want to see what the errors are. So we'll just try to build this right now. Control B. And you can see we have some errors. If we check the output, the main error is that it cannot open the graphics header file. So we have to tell our application where to find the SFML files. And in order to do that, I want to create an environment variable that I can use for any application I make that will tell the application where the SFML directory is. In order to do that, I'm going to open Control Panel. I'm going to select User Accounts. I'm going to select User Accounts again. And I'm going to click the button that says Change My Environment Variables. And under my user variables, I'm going to select New. We'll create a new variable called SFML_dir. And its value will be the location of the SFML directory. We can just browse right to it. Mine's in this PC, C, Users, my username, source, lib, SFML-2.6.1. OK. OK. And close. But before we can reference that environment variable, we need to restart Visual Studio. OK, I've opened Visual Studio back up, and now I'm ready to tell the program how to find the SFML header files. The way I'm going to do this is by creating a property sheet. And property sheets are nice because any application I make can reference the property sheet, and I'll only have to do all this include header stuff one time. So let's go to Property Manager, and we'll right click where it says Hello SFML, and we will add a new project property sheet. And I'm going to name it SFML. And I'm going to save it in a location where I keep all of my property sheets on my computer. That's under Source, Property Sheets. Add. And now we'll just edit this property sheet with the location of the SFML includes. So those can be found in the SFML directory, include. We'll copy that path. We'll click C++, General, Additional Include Directories, and we'll paste that path in. But instead of having the hard-coded path from my C drive, I'm going to replace it with that new environment variable we made, SFML dir. And in Visual Studio, you have to have a $sign and parentheses wrapping your environment variables. So hit apply and OK. And you can see the red squiggly lines from IntelliSense went away because it is now finding the header files. And if I try to build, we're now receiving link errors, so we have to tell it where to find the libraries next. So they are back in the source of the SFML directory under lib, x64. Remember, this is where we built the libraries. Lib, configuration, and there they are. So I'm going to copy this path, and I'm going to edit our property sheet. And I'm going to click where it says linker and go down to command line because I like to do a little trick here. I'm just going to paste the path in to the libs, and I'm going to do /star.lib, and that way it'll just find all of the lib files in this path. But I'm also going to remove the hard-coded path, and just like we did before, put the SFML dir environment variable. But one more step is I'm going to replace debug with a variable called configuration. That way, whether it's debug or release, it's going to point to the right folder. So now I'm going to hit apply, OK, and we'll try to build one more time, and we built successfully. But if we run this, we're probably going to get errors because we don't have the DLL files in our output directory. Yeah, so it's telling us that the code execution cannot proceed because a DLL wasn't found. There's another DLL that wasn't found. Ooh, many DLLs weren't found. So what we're going to do is write a post-build event that will copy the DLLs from the SFML directory into our output directory for this application. The function we're going to use to do that is xcopy, and so I'll show you how to do that right now. I'm going to right-click our property sheet, hit Properties again, and I'm going to go down to Build Events, and we'll make a post-build event which will copy the DLLs into our output directory after we build our code. So if I click on this, I want to use xcopy. I'm going to use the D switch, which means only copy files when they become new. So we don't want to keep copying them 100 times for no reason. We use /y so that we don't prompt for overwriting. We just want it to go ahead and overwrite. And let's figure out where those DLLs are. They're actually in the same folder where the libs are, so I should be able to just copy this path, paste it here, and just like I did with star.lib before where I wanted to include all the lib files, I'm going to do star.dll, and yet again I'm going to replace the hard-coded path with our environment variable SFML dir. And I'm also going to replace the word debug with the variable configuration. And I want to copy those files to our output directory, whose variable is output dir. So I'm going to apply that. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to build again, and if everything worked, this time when we push the green button and try to run, we should get an SFML window with a big green circle in it, and there it is. So congratulations, you've built a SFML application, and the final step is to export this project as a template so that it can be used anytime we create a new Visual Studio solution. We'll close that. So to export this as a template, all we have to do is, under Project, click Export Template, and we'll push Next on Project Template, And we'll name this template SFML application. And we'll just hit finish. Okay, you can see there's our template we created. And to test this out, all we have to do is create a brand new Visual Studio project again. I'm just going to close everything. So we'll open Visual Studio. We'll create a new project. And hopefully our template will appear. There it is, right at the top, SFML application. If we click on this and hit next, let's name it My SFML Program. And I don't like spaces, so I'm going to get rid of those. And we'll create. Okay. And we can see that our CPP file is there. And under Property Manager, it is referencing our property sheet. So without doing anything, we should be able to push the green button and have a running SFML app. And there we are. So there you have it. You are free to create as many SFML apps on your computer as you want using Visual Studio, and they just work. Thanks for watching this video. See you next time.